Hello, everyone. So today I'll be talking about something that is clear to me, right? I always call myself an active citizen. I don't see myself as an activist. When people say, "Oh, activists," they try to. I say, "No, I'm not an activist. I am an active citizen." And what that means for me is the fact that I have a voice. I was deliberate. I decided that I would no longer be voiceless. I was voiceless up until I was 40 years old, and on the issue of national issues, I was voiceless. Yes, I had my stand. Yes, I have always been like this in my whole life, in my individual life, and growing up and also into my adulthood. But when I became 40, I realized that I also was a problem of Nigeria. How was I the problem of Nigeria? By my silence, by not speaking on issues. And so from that day, I decided I will no longer be silent on issues. I'm going to partake in governance and be on the demand side of governance. So for me, I always see myself as an active citizen, and I love the fact that a lot of people now are asking questions and wanting to know how can they also be active citizens. The first thing about being an active citizen is to have an understanding of yourself and to know that indeed you are a citizen, you are not a slave, and that you have a responsibility and duty in your country, and you also have rights in your country. And so you must be treated as a human being, and no one citizen is more than another citizen, no matter what office you occupy. And so when you have that awareness, you begin to think about how do you participate. There are two sides of governance, of course, according to Dr. Obiezekwesili, where she said there's the demand side of governance and there's also the supply side of governance. Those people who are voted into office are on the supply side of governance, and the people who vote them into office are on the demand side of governance. So for there to be a good governance, there has to be demand and supply. If there's no demand, what usually happens is that the people voted into office, they will supply what comes most easy for them, and usually that is bad governance. So we must be deliberate. So it's a duty in Nigeria. You understand? We really haven't played the role of demanding as much as we should. Yes, yeah, people try, but one of the things is that a lot of people just always feel that there are few people that are supposed to make demands on their behalf. Oh, we've left it to activists. Oh, where are the activists? Things like that. And I will give you a short story quickly. A few days ago, we saw what happened where there was military accidentally bombed some citizens and killed over 100. And then while that was going, somebody will just come and tweet and they tag me, Dr. Bezakwesili, and say, "Oh, this is the time for activism." So you see what that person just did was to outsource that responsibility that he has and feel that, oh, there's somebody else that is supposed to do it. There's always one thing that I talk about, which is to say that Nigeria does not need more activists. Nigeria needs more active citizens. And we've seen it play out in the last few years. NSAS protests happened. Nobody saw NSAS protests coming. Neither did people see the obedient movement coming, even though at the end of the day there was shrinking. But there was a lot of wins that happened from that. The fact that citizens were active. But before all of that happened, there was talk. Citizens were talking. Citizens were talking. So they say, keep talking. Even if you have to shout, keep shouting. Sometimes you think that people are not listening. The government isn't listening, but they do listen. Initially, they try to ignore, but it gets to a place where you're so relentless and your voice is so consistent and so unrelenting that they are forced to listen, they are forced to acknowledge, and they are forced to do the right thing. So the first thing I would say to everyone that wants to be an active citizen is that first of all, just know that you have a voice and that you can use it. Find out what it is that you're good at, where your voice can be heard. There are people who are active through their music, some people are active through their poetry, some people are active by their dancing, some is through their writing, and a whole lot. So find out what it is. Some of them is by content creation, by skits. There are people who are sending so much powerful messages inside of kits. So the first thing is to find what is it that you are good at, and then use that voice and be strong at it. Talk about these issues that are not right. Talk about them. What is not done right, point them out. Make demands on government. Stand up for justice, equity, fairness, rule of law, and be consistent about it. And don't do it based on biases or some one thing or the other. Just do it because it's the right thing to do, because it's the just thing to do, because it follows the rule of law, irrespective of whether it affects you, affects someone you love, affects someone that is a part of your tribe or your religion or your ethnicity or your race or whatever it is. What is most important is that you focus on that thing that needs to be talked about, and keep talking about it. It's also very important for us to gain knowledge, acquire knowledge, read widely, find out about things, you understand, and be consistent. And don't just say, so that you're not coming from a point of ignorance. There are so many things that we're ignorant about. Like for me personally, there are a lot of conversation that happen or demands that I don't talk about, because first of all, what I do is that I try to learn. When I don't have knowledge about it, I really don't talk about them, but I find out, okay, what is going on. I learn from people who have knowledge about it. I try to gain a knowledge, read. And these days of Google, to an extent, Google is like a university that is always out there for us. It's like this big gigantic library that you can always check it, open it up, and find out what are the things that one can learn, and you can easily learn before forming an opinion. And even when you learn, there's a difference between something that you have much knowledge about and something that you have little knowledge about. So don't be afraid to learn, because it's always better to come from an informed point of view, so that in that way your points are not negated, especially when you're not talking about something that you are very much informed about, because you have made remarks, uninformed remarks in other areas. So it's sort of like negates and begin to take away from those points that you are making. So it's very important to always, get this knowledge, focus on it, and keep learning. It's part of it. Keep learning, keep seeking for knowledge. Every day is an opportunity again for us to learn. So social media is there. Social media is at our disposal. This video that you're watching right now, you're watching it via social media. It's not through the conventional media. It's not through the electronic media that we have, or the print media. But the social media has democratized media, according to Chude Jideowo, and I totally agree with him. So you have the opportunity to be able to say the things that you want to say and put them out there, and post them out there for people to hear. Those things that you think are not being done right, those things that you think should be worked upon, those things that you think the government needs to do better, or some public officials need to do better. You have your social media accounts, you have your YouTube, you have your Twitter, which is now X, you have your Facebook, Instagram, Threads, whatever it is that you can use better to send out that message. TikTok is there. You can use this to get that message. So that's very important. One of the things also that I say to people is that whatever you do, please do it because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. And you might ask me, what's the difference? There's a huge difference. When you want to do something, you're the one doing it. You're doing it for you. No, you're not saying, oh, I'm doing it because of X, Y, Z. No. Like for me, I always say people, I'm doing this because I want to have a voice. I don't want to be faceless, nameless, and voiceless. I grew up in poverty. I was faceless, nameless, and voiceless. As an adult, I refuse to make myself faceless, nameless, and voiceless. So I give myself a voice and I speak. And I believe that in my country, I am as equal citizen to anyone. And no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. And nobody is going to take my voice away from me. So when I do anything, I know I'm doing it because I want to. I'm there. Whatever hardship that comes with it, whatever attack, whatever people throw at me, no matter how people denigrate me, I don't wait for anybody's validation, because I've validated myself. I've decided to give myself a voice, and that's exactly what I'm doing. In the process of giving myself a voice, if I end up also giving other people voices, that's powerful addition. But the primary thing is that I get to have a voice. So I said to you, if you want to do anything, you want to be an active citizen or do anything, do it because you want to do it and not because you have to do it. So when you want to do it, you are the one who want to come out. You are the one who want to speak on issues. You are the one who want to be an active citizen. You are the one who wants to have a voice. You are the one deciding what it is that you want to do, and know that, oh, it has to be done, and then you do it. Because if you feel that it has to be done, and that's the reason why you're coming, or you're doing it for people, you're doing it to help other people, you're doing it to give other people a voice. When those people don't appreciate you, when they don't validate you, when they attack you or denigrate you, then you feel angered, you feel annoyed. Sometimes, oh, people say, oh, I'm not going to do this again. Oh, I've done this. No, you did it for yourself. And if you feel like you're not doing it, fine, at any time. uh Free entry, free exit, I always say. That's one of the things we used to say at the Bring Back Our Girls move, and it's very apt. If you feel tired at any time, you can always take a break, come back. If you don't want to come back, it's okay. There are other people that's when they also will want to now be active citizen. But most importantly, when it is you want to do it and know that you have to do it, you're self-motivated, you're not waiting for anyone to motivate you. And these things are absolutely very, very critical. So these are the things. And as we continue to do it, as more and more people continue to talk about the issues, it's like it will snowball. Before you know what's happening, people are doing it. A lot of people are thinking, oh, people should be on the streets. Why are people not on the streets? Yeah, because mentally they are not prepared. You have to be an active citizen. You have to get to a place that you're like, I'm ready to pay the price, no matter what it is. There are a lot of people that can't pay the price. There are a lot of people that want to be active citizens, but because they are government officials, they are workers, their jobs don't allow them, or they need contract, or they do contract with the government, they do business with government, they do one or two things with government, and so they do not want any way to be associated with any cause or making demands, and it's understandable. Some people is their a career, and they don't want to endanger that. Fantastic. That's understandable. So whoever is doing this, you must know that there is a price to be paid, and you should be ready to pay that price. You should be able to say, irrespective of whatever, I'm ready to do this. Sometimes you have to even put your life on the line. Sometimes you're like, no matter what happens, I can tell you, I can't even count the numerous protests that we went to, and we thought we were not going to come out alive. So these are things that you have to take in mind. And so when more and more people begin to talk about this, more and more people become emboldened. Some people think, oh, people are just talking. It starts from the talking stage, and the talking stage is very important. So let people talk about it. One day you will just see it. It will not be like, oh, it's an overnight thing. Usually it's never an overnight thing. It's a lot of talking that got to a place where people now felt that, what is all this? Let us make a move. And so I hope you've learned something from this video that I've done on how to be an active citizen. And please, every one of us can be an active citizen. There's nothing special that it's needed. It's just for you to decide that you want to give yourself a voice and put that voice out there. And at the end of the day, more of us doing this and standing for Nigeria will lead us to a place where we have a country that we all are very proud of. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.